In this video, we will introduce and discuss techniques for managing the change order request process in construction. Change orders are simply part of construction. There are times when the documents are not clear, and there was no way a contractor could reasonably have been able to discover the issues during the bid phase, and could not therefore have included the required scope in the bid. Additionally, there are times when the owner simply wants to entertain the possibility of a revision to the project. A wise old architect I was working with on a rather large healthcare project was asked to explain to the owner why there were so many revisions ongoing to the project. He quickly replied, "Because this project is a prototype. We have never designed this project before, and we will not complete our design until the project is 100% complete." There's really a lot of truth in his words. Changes are simply realities in construction. Smaller projects do not necessarily have less change orders than large projects. Some projects, no matter the size, have very few change requests to deal with. In any event, there must be a disciplined method of recording change order requests and change orders. The contractor is in the business to make a profit, so the risk associated with changes must be managed effectively and efficiently. The ultimate goal is to be able to communicate with the rest of the project team the status of any particular change at any one time during the project. I've personally been involved in projects that have had over 200 change order requests to deal with. All the while, the owner, the architect, and the personnel in the field needed to know the status of the revisions on a daily basis so as not to impact the schedule. Of course, the ultimate goal is to be able to communicate with the rest of the project team the status of a particular change at any one time during the project. I have personally been involved in projects that have had over 200 change order requests to deal with. At the same time, the owner, the architect, and the people in the field needed to know the status of the revisions on a daily basis so to avoid impact to the project schedule if at all possible. Change order requests in this example are formal documents indicating the estimated cost of a particular revision. The revisions could be zero cost, they could add cost to the project, or they could be deductive in nature. The change order request may also impact the schedule. They may or may not be approved and included in a formal change order later. Some are easy to resolve, others are more complex in nature. Some may be contested by another party as not being a legitimate change. The point is, at any one time during a project, there could be numerous change requests in various stages of review that could impact the project in one way or another. So how do you keep up with all those revisions? It's important to remember that one change order request can turn into one change order, or there may be several change order requests that are incorporated into one change order. So how do you keep up with all these change order requests? If you look closer, you'll see there's change order request number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 6. Well, what happened to number 4 and 5? How do you keep up with the status of those change requests? So let's look at a change order request log, which is a simple tool for helping keep track of all the change order requests and the status of change orders on a project. This simple example has a title block at the top to insert the project name and the date that this log was updated, has a column for the change order request number, has a column to indicate the date of the change order request, a brief description of the change order request, what the change order request dollar amount is, time impact or schedule impact if there is any in days, who requested the change, was it the owner, was it the architect, is it the contractor? What is the approved change order amount? It could be the change order request amount, or it could be zero, or something in between. What date was it approved, and what formal change order was it made a part of, and what is the number? Now these logs can come in many different shapes and forms, and many of them have different columns of information included. For instance, some will include a column for change order approved and then one for change order rejected. But in this simple example, under the date approved column, you could just simply insert rejected if the change order request was rejected. If we review an example of a change order log from a project that is underway, you will notice there are change order requests or CORs in various stages of development. You will notice, for instance, that COR number 1 was the first change identified and entered into this log. It has been priced and submitted to the owner for approval, but no action has been taken to date. It is neither approved nor rejected. It is simply under review. Initially, it was priced and submitted with no schedule impact anticipated. However, the schedule aspect may have to be revisited should the owner decide to pursue this change. Upon further inspection of the document, you will notice the details concerning the change requests that are in various stages of approval. You will see that change order request number 2 has been approved by the owner. The amount is $618. So the contract has been updated with formal change order number 1, and the contract amount has been increased by $618. You will also see that while COR or change order request number 3 was priced and submitted to the owner for review, it was not approved. Matter of fact, it was rejected. Rejected is not necessarily an adversarial term. The owner in this case simply decided not to add the particular scope to the project. Therefore, change order request number 3 will never become a formal change order. Change order requests number 4, 5, and 6 represent 3 revisions that have been priced, and according to this log, they have been approved, but no formal change order has been issued. How then can they be approved if no formal change order has been issued to incorporate the revised scope into the contract? Well, in many cases, depending on your relationship with the owner, you may feel comfortable proceeding on a verbal approval, but oftentimes the owner will simply direct the contractor using some form of correspondence to proceed with the work outlined in the change order request, in this case, change order request number 4, 5, and 6, and that a formal change order will be forthcoming. Chances are that those change order requests in this log will be incorporated into one change order number 2. Change order requests number 7 and number 8 are identified as potential revisions to the updated contract, but no formal pricing has been established or assembled for either change. There's simply a description of work. They are simply on the log for communication purposes. As a matter of fact, this log's entire reason for existence is to organize and communicate changes and potential changes into one document. Not only is this an important tool to use daily to aid in the risk management at the job site level, but is very likely a main topic on the agenda every time the owner, the architect, and the contractor get together to discuss the project.